Everyone, please rise. We'll call to order the common council meeting for the 2nd of February. Tonight, we'll start our meeting with a pledge of allegiance led by Councilwoman Betsy Means Davis, followed by our prayer by Councilman Thurman Adams.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we come once again acknowledging you and that you have a plan for each person in this room and for our city. We thank you for that. I also want to thank you for the wonderful friendships that you allowed me to have here, people that I cherish and will treasure forever. Help us, Lord, to make good decisions for our town and to represent you well and to bring you the most glory. Be with us tonight as we meet, and we pray for and thank you for your protection on those that are in the positions to guide and protect us on a daily basis. We just ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You seated. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wilson.
Present.
Councilwoman Means Davis.
Present.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilwoman Sanders.
Here.
Councilman Adams.
Here.
Councilman Harrell.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
Here. Okay, first order of business, we have the minutes from the January 21st meeting. I think there was a correction that was sent out today. So they are the amended minutes that were sent out. So there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
The motion and second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next, we have old business. I guess in old business, anybody have any old business besides me? In old business, I would like to talk a little bit about the data center, just for some information purposes. We have obtained an engineer to do a site survey of the property. A site survey of the property. And we also do have some numbers that we received from Prologis that we sent to Reedy today. So we're working on getting this information back to us. And talking to the engineer today, there's no way possible that he can be done by the, was it the 19th we were gonna meet?
Yes, 19.
Yeah. So yeah, he cannot be done with his analysis of that property by that time. So we would need to push either another couple weeks out or 4 weeks or whatever the council wishes, but I'm just letting you know because we're not gonna make it on that timeline right now.
What's our deadline, our 90 days deadline? Is that in the 1st of April?
We got plenty of time, yeah.
So should we push it to if we have time, maybe the
March.
first meeting in April?
I think I'd be more comfortable doing the last one in, or the, yeah, well, that's only the 16th though. No, sorry, we're, yeah, right. That'd be the 16th of March.
During spring break.
That's during spring break, okay. So we're looking at the 6th of April then? Is that,
It'd be a lot better.
is that a comparable, is that
I think
good for
that's
everybody?
good.
Because I know we're working on getting these things together and trying to make, the information available. So I hopefully, this gentleman who, the engineering company, it's banning insurance, I'm banning engineering. They did the initial analysis on this property for Duke to be a ready work site or ready, shovel-ready site. So he's familiar with the property at least. And that's kind of why we reached out to him. And Jeff's a pretty well-known and respected person in the engineering.
They're
So-
they're experts in that field, so I feel very confident that they will do a good job and we don't want to rush them, so.
Do you need to make a motion or we just say it?
I'd make
Yeah.
a motion.
I'd go ahead and do a motion just to make sure that we,
Are we sure we're in our timeline as we? April 6th.
We just talked about that, right?
I'm sorry, Mike, what did you say?
Are we sure we're within our timeline at April 6th? I know Jenny was online.
I would think so, because I mean, that's,
That's 90 days.
You're 90 days from the date that the plan commission certified it, and they certified it after the 7th of January. So yes, you should be fine.
Yes, yes.
So we'll look at, and then I'll get Jenna involved in trying to get the high school again or the middle school, whichever's preference. I don't care. So doesn't matter to me.
The high school would probably be more
High
comfortable
school.
I
for
suppose
people.
more comfortable. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're
They'd
right.
have less setup too with the chairs.
Yeah, okay. So we'll look at the high school then for that.
So March 6th, correct?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Is that everybody? Okay, so we got a motion, and then there was there a second?
Second that.
There was a second.
Wait a minute, you said March.
April,
April.
sorry, April.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thurman made the motion, I second it, so yes.
There's nobody from the media here tonight either. Oh, well, we'll get it out and get it going. So April 6th, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anyone in the public wish to speak? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you all. All right, next, any further old business? Hearing none, we'll move to new business. Hearing none, we'll move to miscellaneous business. First in miscellaneous business, we have Melissa O'Connor with the Youth Assistant Program. If you please state your name for the record, even though I just stated your name, but
Melissa O'Connor, the Director of the Youth Assistance Program. First of all, I want to thank you for your ongoing support of the Youth Assistance Program. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to give you an update of our program. We provide the ability to serve at-risk youth in our community, giving them and their families an opportunity to receive services that are free, confidential, and ongoing as long as the families choose to continue to be provided those services, giving those youth opportunities that they otherwise would not be able to receive. And of course, the goal is to prevent youth from becoming involved in the juvenile justice system. So just to give some updates on our program. We started accepting referrals in March of 2016, and since then we've had 1,293 cumulative referrals. We currently have 169 active clients. Last year, we received 172 new referrals, which is about an average of 14 per month, which was an increase from last year. With our volunteer programs, we have 26 current active volunteers for our tutoring and mentoring programs. We are currently serving 10 students in our tutoring programs at the Shelbyville Library and Triton Central Middle School. In our mentoring programs, last year, we developed a partnership with Southwestern and Waldron to provide mentoring during lunch hours for students. Our lunch buddies meet weekly for 6-week increments. We have 16 mentors that participated in that in the fall semester, and several of them continued into the spring semester. We also trained several new mentors to participate in our group mentoring for this spring semester. And we look to partner hopefully with Shelbyville Middle School to provide that group mentoring aspect for students that are participating in youth assistance. Some recent events and supports that are being provided. We continue to engage youth in activities focusing on positive development, including referrals for counseling and community supports. We provide scholarships for youth that are involved in the Youth Assistance Program for athletics, extracurricular activities, before and after school care, and summer day camps. Last year, we sponsored over 50 youth and club memberships and day camps, as well as recreational activities. We provide resources and basic needs to families. For example, we deliver food or snack baskets over the summer, Thanksgiving, and during Christmas breaks. We provided over 70 food baskets and snack baskets last year. We also had donors participate in helping us provide Christmas gifts to over 20 children participating in youth assistance. And then we also provided many more referrals for families to community supports to receive assistance. We continue providing coats, hats, gloves for children each winter. We connect families to ongoing and evolving supports in the community, providing resources for basic needs, things like hygiene items, backpacks, school supplies, things of that nature. We also participate in community events throughout the year to offer resources to at-risk youth and their families. We also continue to meet with school personnel, first responders, and other departments to provide ongoing partnerships and support. We offer support for students with chronic absences and truancy issues, things like participating in absence review meetings, county school safety meetings, and other community child-focused meetings or task forces. We also developed in partnership with Shelbyville Central Schools and the Shelbyville Police Department, the Handle with Care notification system to increase communication regarding students that encounter traumatic incidents outside of school hours, to allow schools to be advised before students return to school the next day that there was a traumatic incident involving a youth. Recently, we hired an additional full-time staff member, so now we have 2 full-time staff to focus on enhanced services and increased case management services, as well as focusing on the development of our volunteer programs. We also partner with other organizations to identify and address community needs, as well as provide training opportunities. We are partnering with the Indiana Youth Institute and Girls Inc. to provide a youth worker cafe coming up later this month. And then we're also involved with the CIT Steering Committee to offer critical incident training for law enforcement officers and others in the community. And that will be taking place actually next week. The Youth Assistance Program staff participate or chair a number of community teams and coalitions to be more involved in the community and develop those ongoing resources that are needed for youth and families in the community. And we also continue to develop our board and board committee membership to enhance program and services. Last year, we worked with a professional consultant that was free to us through the Indiana Youth Institute to identify organizational assets, needs, and priorities for our program and board best practices. Some upcoming events and next steps for our program. We intend to implement the Strengthening Youth Programs and Indiana Lilly Grant Award. This year, we specifically would like to provide supports to address trauma-impacted youth in the community. We also intend to offer families of youth receiving supports an opportunity to participate in financial literacy courses in partnership with Centra Credit Union. And then one of our most exciting things is celebrating our 10 years of providing services in Shelby County.
Awesome.
That is our update. Any questions that I might be able to answer?
Any questions or comments?
What is your youth worker cafe? Where is that?
The Youth Worker Cafe is going to be held at Girls Inc.
Okay. Is that on an occasional basis or like once a month or?
Typically, we have one that is virtual and then one that is in person. This
Okay.
will be our in-person event for the year. We'll be focusing on grief supports. And lunch is provided and it is free
I like
to the
that.
community.
Right. Other comments, or questions?
Just know that at Waldron, we see some of the lunch buddy programs going on. It's great to see the kids interacting with people, and I'm not sure how you go about getting volunteers, but that maybe just hearing about it here, more people might be interested in volunteering.
Absolutely. We're always looking to engage additional volunteers. We hear such positive comments from the kids, the families, the volunteers. And thank you. It's absolutely a wonderful support for kids.
It is.
Do your volunteers have to go through training?
Yes, we do interviews, references, background checks, and then we also do training for our volunteers. Mhm.
Thank you
Questions
very
or
much.
comment?
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Melissa,
for
thank you
your
very much.
support.
And thank you
Thank you.
thank you most of all for putting up with Jeremy. We appreciate that. Thanks again.
Thank you.
She didn't argue with you.
Yeah, I know. She's a smart girl, so she knows. All right, next in miscellaneous, we have the Reedy Financial Rate Study Report for wastewater and stormwater. Yes.
Hello,
Well-
Caitlin Schaefer, Reedy Financial Group. We have copies. I'm assuming everyone wants one and does not. Okay.
Yeah.
Never saw them, those are there. They put it like this one.
This is the same thing we have online tonight, the okay,
Yes.
electronically. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, you can do it. One more. Okay, I was wrong.
Pick two.
That was sort of that very next one. All right, go right ahead.
Okay, so in front of you, you have an accountant's report, which is summarizing the highlights of both the sewer and stormwater rate studies that we put together. Unless specific questions come up, I do not plan to go through the entirety of each rate report because they can get lengthy. But of course, if you have specific questions, I'm happy to answer those. The accountant's report will kind of keep us on track on what we're going to talk about. I will say the start of this is because of a treatment project that needs to be completed and funded. So that was the reason that we started looking into the rates. And then kind of from there, if we were looking at sewer, let's look at stormwater. And then there were also some miscellaneous sewer charges that we also looked at. So I will be going through all of those different ones that we identified and analyzed. So for your utilities, I don't know how well you are informed about utilities. If I'm talking too much, please tell me. You guys have been through this enough. You don't need to hear me. But essentially your rates fund a number of what we call revenue requirements, expenses. You have your O&M, you have your E&R, which is extensions and replacements, your capital budget, you have your debt service and your debt service reserve, you have your pilot. And if you qualify and need extra cash, you have a working capital. Your cash balances do not support a working capital. You do have healthier balances in comparison to other utilities. So kind of getting into that now, looking at the order of how your rates fund these different elements, you start with your O&M. That's your ongoing budget. That's what your department heads track throughout the year for you. It's essentially anything that is required to maintain your day-to-day. We did look into the salaries and wages, making sure that whatever was approved for the 2026 budget, which was a 2% increase, that we included that in here. Of course, that impacts your benefits as well. We also looked at your health insurance, how much of that went up and is applicable to your utilities. And then we also went through all of your expenses and took out any capital related expenses and assumed that those should be funded out of your extensions and replacements. Your O&M, your operating budget should only support operations. Your depreciation or your extensions and replacements fund should maintain your capital. It's just kind of a well-oiled machine if you keep it in that manner. The next thing of that list that you would need to fund after O&M is your debt service. You currently do have an outstanding debt that is about to be paid off. Regardless, we did assume a 20-year bond for this $17.15 million project. That has not gone out to bid, of course, as you are very aware. That number can fluctuate up or down, and depending on what kind of rate we get, what kind of premium we get, that can change a number of things. So, of course, that 17.15 is a large dollar amount, and that is kind of what's driving this increase the most. In the past, for purposes of those specific projects, the debt has been proportioned out to sewer and stormwater. Just FYI, this one will not be. It will be 100% sewer, as it is specific to the treatment facilities. I will not speak too much on the actual project because I am nowhere efficient in explaining that. So the next type of revenue requirement that the utility would support is that extensions and replacements. What that budget looks like. We built in a $230,500 annual budget for capital to move forward and support any capital that you need. The idea is, if we're doing this large project, the amount of capital that is being currently spent will hopefully decrease just a little bit because you're going to have a new system up and running. You do have a large balance in your operating fund, and we would recommend doing, it doesn't have to be this exact number. We backed into a cash reserve amount, but it's $1.3 million transfer from your operating fund to your ENR fund, again, to support future capital. Your budget is what it is, kind of, but capital is what you really need to plan for in the future, so that maybe next time a big project comes down the road, you don't have to bond the full thing. So just something to consider. And then, of course, payment in lieu of taxes. Should your utility not be a municipal owned utility, they would pay taxes just like anyone else. So there is a calculation of a tax bill of what that maximum pilot could be. Sewer, we are not going to maximize just because we're already planning for so many things in sewer, and we're going to keep it at 150,000 annually. And then for stormwater has not paid a pilot in the past. But to kind of make up that difference of what sewer has done in the past, we're recommending doing 123,000 every year. So on page 3, we kind of put some charts together, and should you guys decide to move forward with this and do a public hearing, these charts really help explain where that user's bill goes. What is it paying for? So it breaks out, this amount goes to O&M. This amount is paying for this project that we're about to do. This amount is paying for future capital needs that we know that we're going to eventually have. So these charts are showing that, in my opinion, well. So the current rate for sewer for 4,000 gallons is $29.18. We're proposing an increase of $7.07, totaling $36.25. On an annual basis, that is $84.84 that a user would see on an annual basis. Stormwater, same concept. Currently, it's at $6, recommending $2.08. Proposed rate $8.08, and that is a $24.96 annual increase to that user. There is also on the last page, so that you can kind of see how you stack up against others, that this is based on population. These kind of are misleading to me, but I know a lot of people like them because every system is different. So it's very hard to really calculate if these are fair, but they still give you an idea of what your rates are, because your rates are what they are. So even with an increased rate, you don't even hit the bottom 10, and this is out of 20, of course. Stormwater, you are 11th out of 20, and you will go to 19th out of 20. But in my opinion, with stormwater, it's very regional based. So population is not, again, a realistic comparison, but that's just, again, kind of what we pulled the information from, but I did want to give you a little bit of information that I don't think it's very misleading. So, I'll wrap this up with the other fees that we looked at. Within your ordinance, I think, it's called a tapping fee. We were going to look at increasing those. Essentially, I have it in here as a capacity fee. They are used interchangeably, but this is what the purpose of your fee was, whenever it was implemented. So basically, this is the buy-in factor. For any of your new customers that come on board, whatever size meter they need, this is their buy-in. I know that there isn't much of a difference of the 4-inch meter, and that has been brought to my attention, but we are just using the industry standards of equivalent dwelling units. So if an engineer wants to give me something that's more streamlined for Shelbyville, I'm all for that, but this is just what we base things off of without outside opinion. We also looked at septic hauling fees. And I'm not super familiar with exactly what goes into this, but just the calculation. So right now you guys charge 1 cent for outside septic, and that is, I don't know if I've ever seen it that low. So we're proposing an increase of 8 cents, and that's very comparable to others. I didn't include another comparison graph, but that is very comparable. And then fog tipping fees, again, very low at 5 cents. And we are recommending it go to 25 cents per 1 gallon. And I will note on those two, that is much less than what it could be, but we're gonna kind of ease into it. We don't want to jump from 1 cent to 50 cents. So, definitely easily, defendable, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And then the inspection fees currently at $25, and we are proposing those go to $112. And this is based off of the average wage of 2 of your employees for 2 hours. Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, so going back to the septic charges, basically that's, so with any septic hauler in the Shelby County can bring the septic from homes in Shelby County to our plant to dump. And that's what we charge them to dump that. So that rate will not affect the residents of Shelbyville, but will affect the residents of Shelby County outside the city limits, because that's who uses that service more than anybody. So.
And that's a great point, because I have based the rate increase to like the flow and the base. I've based that off of assuming you guys are going to increase the septic and the fog, because that would reduce what you need from the others. So that is helpful. If you decide not to do that, your increase will be slightly larger to the flow and the base.
I appreciate the capacity fees and septic information, because I know that was brought up during committee and trying to figure out how we would learn about the other communities, and you guys already have that database there. So it's nice to have that, and Shelley wouldn't have to go find it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It looks pretty good compared to what you found.
Yes, the most interesting thing I found is there's not very many fog. There's not very many places that will even accept fog. And even as close as Franklin don't accept septic, so I was just like in shock. Don't even
Yeah.
have that service, so.
Hey, come on up if you want to, if you don't mind, sorry, unless you're done. Yeah, sorry.
Done if you guys are done with.
Well, we might have a question or two, sorry.
Shelley Higdon.
Sorry,
Water
ma'am.
treatment plant. Okay, what was the question now? I can't remember.
Just repeat what you said.
Just repeat what you
Okay,
said.
So I checked around at other plants. I did like I haven't got them all back, but
Full
sent
survey.
thing, survey. And I got several of them back that didn't even have the service to take any septic from their cities. Fog is very rare, so I know up north, there are several places, but not. I mean, if we don't want to, I'm good with not accepting it, but.
Can
It-
can your plant handle it?
We are getting ready to, not right at the moment, no, not like what we were having dairy come in a lot, and it's supposed to help with our methane. But the tank doesn't mix correctly. It is not heated, which is fine, but if it's not mixed, we have
Right.
solids, it creates a huge mess. So you're adding water, trying to get it loose to pump it into the digester. So unless you go out there as soon as they dump and move it to the digester, you're kind of solidifying the grease.
Yeah.
So do you want to continue accepting it?
Oh, gosh, I haven't been asked that question here. No.
That's a-
It is we do, and like if we're gonna, there's legislation for grease trap legislation wanting to go, send it to the health department to take care of. If we continue taking care of that as a wastewater plant, we have a grease trap program, but if we're gonna have them have to clean out the grease traps, they need to have somewhere to take it. Which a grease trap here and there is probably, we've done it for years, is not horrible on the plant, just going through the plant, but it's not ideal. There's a lot of places, there's a lot of my septic haulers that do a lot of, grease traps. Other facilities, so.
So with the work that's going to be done at the plant, is this going to make it easier to handle?
Yes,
Okay.
we're trying to get some kind of a mixing pumps, the air mixing or something to
Mhm.
put like 2 or 3 of those in that tank. We're not real sure about heat yet, because if we can mix it, we may be okay. Kind of just seeing.
So your
how-
recommendation would be to continue with the program
So,
as it
yes.
is? Okay, and you're
Yeah.
professional. Okay,
We
thank
got
you.
it, we're gonna spend some money on it, but I think it's probably ideal for the long run of the plant. And if we do end up wanting to bring the dairy back to create more methane, we could use our furnace a lot more, and because we run our furnace to heat the digesters on methane, right? So
Okay,
right now we're not, because
okay, thank you.
So would you have a very rough estimate of how many gallons a year you have to process with that?
of
program?
fog, yes, I think that's in here.
I mean, if no one else is doing it and
Um. Yeah, I don't know about bringing in everybody over Indiana. That's not, and if we,
well, it's not a big, I'm.
We
you know,
don't wanna
I'm just
entice-
curious more than anything else.
right,
18, yeah.
Oh.
it shows how much we have.
It's not that
provided this
much.
Year,
No.
I don't think so, but still.
No,
about 200,000 gallons total.
Oh, that's a lot.
that's, no.
And then you look at septic, and I think it was, yeah, it was quite a bit, 15 million, 2.5 million gallons. So we have a lot of septic haulers, but so far we're okay, but we could, you gotta watch the loading rates and everything coming in to whether it's gonna upset your plant.
Are your BOD?
And that's all with the, septic hauler program that's in the works too, so. Trying to test their pH, all that, I mean, there's a lot.
Well, that's
Not there
why
yet.
the fees need to go up too, probably, because you're getting used and overused, so,
Yes.
you know.
So
Sorry.
are all the septic haulers, are those all local?
Most of them are, there's a few that are not local, but they can only, even if they're out of town haulers, like maybe Greensburg, Cecil's kind of over toward Greensburg or Greenfield. I'm not sure if he's in Shelby County still or not, but he can only haul if he pumps a septic tank in Shelby County.
Oh, okay.
You will only accept Shelby County waste no matter where you're coming from.
Gotcha. Good.
That's good to know.
The porta lots are a little different. I'm still kind of working and wrapping my head around that, whether or not I'm not real clear on how we want to do that because they have chemicals on. I'm still in the works on that and, fog, we accept it right now from any, not even outside of Shelby County, because for a long time, we wanted as much as we could get, so until we have a working system, I'm not doing that. So
If we did accept it from another community, could we have a higher fee for them?
we could, yes. This is very low considering what they pay to take it up to like Merrill Brothers up at Indy and,
Kokomo and,
yeah, there's a lot of other places up north, but I don't know of anybody.
On this, can you establish a non-resident or not resident, a non-county fee? Has anyone ever done that?
Look at it, but it's definitely done, especially since, like I said.
But,
Caitlin, can you come back up here?
sorry,
Like I said, you're under the threshold of what I initially calculated by a lot. So I think you could easily defend that as well, if we wanted to do a slightly higher rate for outside of county.
I would like to recommend that.
I would second that recommendation.
It's not a bad
Are you
idea.
saying on the fog and the septic? Or did you keep the septic?
If it's coming from out of county, yes.
Yes, out of county on both,
Okay,
if that's doable.
Absolutely. I can get that over to you guys.
Shelley, do you mind introducing Gary and to?
I have my operation maintenance advisor here tonight, Gary Carnes, and then an operator from the wastewater plant, Brian.
Yep.
My husband.
Then you have that.
Thank you for being
Then you
here.
have that guy. with-
We need your input. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any further questions or?
So Caitlin, the last time these fees were raised, it was 2016 or 13? 13. And what do you typically recommend? When do you evaluate your fees and charges?
So, annually at a minimum, to be very honest, because things can change, especially with the inflation. You give raises every year. You need to be able to keep pace with that and not fall behind. I will say a lot of our clients are actually looking to, once they get these rates adopted fully, they look at just adding into their ordinance an inflationary increase of 1% or 2%. And that's an automatic until the council says otherwise. So, I do highly recommend that because your expenses are going up at a minimum 2% every year.
Well, pumps only last 20 years and
Yeah.
they're very, very expensive.
Or if not, we forget about it like we did for
Right.
the last 13.
Yeah, and you have new administration and everything. So what would it take? So we would have to implement an ordinance so you could help guide us on what that percentage would be.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can look at what I think for your guys' specific situation would look like and what that percent every year would look like.
And the stormwater has been 22 years. It's never been touched since it was implemented. So
Wow,
Yeah. So we're a little behind the times.
it happens everywhere, unfortunately.
So and everybody knows Derek, right? Derek Byers, our stormwater operator. Okay. So we chose to do this as just an informal, to do this. So we get the information first and then we'll have to have 2 more meetings. We'll have to have a public hearing for the rate increase and then a second meeting to adopt it in the future. So we'll get those dates together and figure that out if that's the wish of the council and they want to go forward.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Would you like for me to be in attendance at the public hearing to
Yeah.
answer questions?
Be-
Okay,
please, if you don't
More
mind.
beneficial.
absolutely. Okay,
Then,
thank you guys for
other
having me.
questions or discussion?
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
appreciate it.
Kelly, thank you for being here too.
Really, thank you.
Anytime, I have my numbers.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving further in miscellaneous is, I guess do you want to do your, Mike, do you want?
I need to make a recommendation to relieve Christopher Clark from the Board of Zoning Appeals. He's our city council appointee and we need to move on and go in a different direction.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to remove Mr. Clark from the BZA. Is there any discussion? Anyone in the public wish to speak? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next in miscellaneous, Chief Dwinger is here today. We did hire 2 new policemen and swore them, or policeman and a policewoman today, and swore them both in this morning. And I just asked him if he would give a brief update on those 2.
We hired 2. One is Ella Lowe from Greensburg and Austin Miller from the Shelbyville area. I'm really pleased because they're both young. I won't say exactly how old they are, but they're very young. We're attracting people from other communities, and more importantly, we're attracting young people. So that's a very positive thing for the police department.
It's part of the work that this council did by raising the salaries, over the last couple of years to get them to a point where they're more competitive with other communities, so.
And we could use another one.
How many years' experience do they have?
They are rookies.
Okay, so they have to go through the program.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
they're very bright, young individuals. I watched them kind of go through our progression to be hired, the agility test and things. They both did very well, and we have a 3rd one. We're just waiting on confirmation.
Excellent.
So how long does it take them to go through the program? 9?
6 months, 9 months.
Between the academy, from the time they're hired, get through the pre-basic, go through the academy, the field training program, it's about a year.
Okay,
It takes a while.
excellent. Well, we're
But
glad to have them.
they're bright, young individuals, and it's refreshing to see new people, young people.
Good.
Hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
good job.
Thank
Right.
you. I will pass that on to them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
while you're there, Chief, under miscellaneous, I'd also like to talk about moving forward with the new police station and what we're gonna try to do. We talked about this first, 2 years ago when we came in, when we moved into the police station over there 2 years ago. It was quite the disaster. It was quite embarrassing, actually. Stains on the carpets, ceilings where the gels overflowed their commodes and down on the offices, and it's just not a very pleasant place to be. The county is out of room. They would like for us to move from there so they can increase their dispatch area because they're all cramped in one room, plus the jail commands in one room. So they're wanting us to look, elsewhere, and we kind of obliged and said we would. So I've been looking. We looked at several pieces of property. We looked at, I think the one that we're gonna settle on, we still got due diligence and work to do, would be the Cubular Collision Center on Miller Avenue. I think Jenny's working on trying to put it all together. We are doing this as a BOT project, which means build, operate, transfer, much like we did North Riley Highway. We use the Board of Public Works and Safety as the 3 people for the committee to choose who we chose. We only had 2 applicants. One was Meyer Najum and American Structure Point. And the other applicant was Hannah Weigel Klein and Studio Access. Where's my notes? Along with Envoy. And we chose, the group chose the Envoy and HWC to move forward. We have not offered them a contract yet or anything. That'll happen later. The plan from here going forward would be to start working on this, get a plan, have public meetings to talk about design and talk about, where this is and how much it's gonna cost and what we're gonna do. And just because we're gonna enter into a contract with the BOT operator, the design is no cost at the point. So if we got to a point where we had to stop, it would not be a problem. We would just stop the project and not move forward. So we're working towards getting to that point where we can start working on some plans. I would like to have 2 council members to sit on a committee to meet with the designers and do those things and have input from the city council on those.
I would like to be on that since I'm his.
Anybody but Linda, I should say, sorry. Oh. Yeah, so if we can just figure that out, I mean, we're probably month and a half away from getting that point, but we'll get there. It's a slow moving process. It's been slow moving. We just haven't, it took forever to find a decent piece of property. And as I mentioned in the email, I think I sent back in August, we talked about, the regional detention aspect of trying to drain the property, the Showers property also to help with getting that area started building on the west side. There's also been some talks recently about, do we even tear down the old Hubler Collision Center or do we use part of it for training facilities? So there's lots of things that have to be still figured out and gone through and talked about. So we're nowhere near getting ready to pull the trigger and start building. It'd probably be a late fall if we get that far. So it's a long way off still, but just wanted to bring it up and talk about it briefly. Do have a couple meetings tomorrow to talk about the possibility of getting some funds for parks and stormwater. I'll update and let people know how that goes and see how that works. It's probably I think, well, yeah, I don't know a lot about what they're wanting to talk about, but I think they're wanting to talk about basically like they do the projects for us and we just basically lease them from them. And over time, since budgets are tight and we don't have the monies to do stormwater, well, we will now, but we don't have money to do parks jobs. But basically a company would come to us and they would say, here's $1 million project and they'll finance it for us and they'll work it all through. I don't know if it's something we're interested in, but it's thinking outside the box in these tight budget times that we're dealing with. It's a different way to keep things going and continuing on in our parks department. So, and making improvements to our local parks. Where am I at? Further miscellaneous, well, hold on, miscellaneous. That's all I had. Oh, we were emailing department heads. Is that something you guys want to see here? I mean, you guys tell me what you want to do. We'll do it. I don't care. mean,
I think the talk was just that they don't need to be here if nothing's going on. It's just that, I mean, if they could provide a report, the first meeting of the month, so that we would know what's going on, or even, it's like Shelley being here tonight is very important because that
we don't,
affects it.
we won't see Shelley again
I
till
know, but
ever till they do it. Well, okay, I'm sorry.
about time.
We need more money.
And Derek, yes. So, and it's nice that the police chief is here a lot. So it's just that it would be nice that sometimes we see them to give reports on, like the fire department, runs or what's going on, if they have some new programs going on, something like that, just so that we kind of know what's happening.
Okay.
Or even if, as liaisons, we can give reports for them.
Right. I think part of the issue that I brought up with the transparency piece, and I know it's a hot topic, but as a council, we found out about the idea of a data center on November 19th. It was a Wednesday, an executive session. Scott, you mentioned that you brought it up in a council meeting in March, and I checked through the minutes and it
I
wasn't
didn't
there.
bring it up in the council meeting in March. RDC had it on their meeting when they signed the lease with Prologis.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a council meeting. It was an RDC meeting. So.
And they said it was a data center then. So as our mayor and the leader of our city, it just feels like it would have been more transparent to say, hey, ordinance committee, you need to start looking at some kind of ordinance or overlay to help kind of guide the restrictions that would be put in place for that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the problem with these projects still going forward is we're not going to be able to, not this project, but when we get projects, as there's been talk about in some of these meetings we've had, we can't say, we don't even know who they are until it comes down to it. And then, the whole data center thing was, they knew, I knew probably about data center in, I want to say August, but I was not allowed to say, so we need to figure out how I can communicate that better without having it in a public forum, which means emails, or any of that. So, which I don't have a problem with that. And I'll be glad, and trust me, I can do better. We can all do better. So I don't mind trying to do better and spending more time here at the council meetings and getting more information out. I think the problem is, you know, it's a weird dynamic in the city, because I think all the department heads, they all come to the Board of Works meeting every week, and they feel like they've given the information. And so then they don't feel like they maybe need to give it twice. And, you know, I get the information a couple, 3 times a week from different places. And it's kind of hard to think, you know, well, I should have said something, but I didn't, and I could have forgot. And so I had to go through and make a list today of what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'll continue to do better with that and do that.
Well, see, I think this is a
That's my
whole
promise.
team effort, and I think we all can do better.
Right.
And it's just that ultimately we're the ones that kind of get fired out. And so I think we can kind of fumble our way through it, figure it out, and
And this is and this is no offense, this is a different council than we've ever had. Then I don't mean that in a bad way, but
we ask questions and we buck you.
exactly, well, and yeah, I mean, not just me. I mean, you know, when I served under Mayor DeBon the last 4 years, we got no information. No one ever told us, no one ever told me anything, at least. I never had got information given to me. And when I was mayor 20 years ago or 22 years ago for 8 years, we kind of had a close-knit group of council people, and they just kind of went along and did along. And there's nothing wrong with not going along. If you got questions, that's fine. It's a different way of me wrapping my head around it. It's always been kind of just internal, and I just always assumed we were going to get it done. And now we got to just think differently. It's just that, you know, you know, and a lot of it has to do with where we're at in our society today. Everything is questioned and everything, you know, which is not bad. I mean, I don't mind. We just I need to do better. So.
Right. The overlay kind of thing that I introduced in our ordinance committee, it just kind of sits on top of an IG. So we're looking at a data center, what kind of protection should we have? And I know as we've gone through and looked at it, it's like, well, an ordinance already covers this. I think Denny mentioned, well, great, put that ordinance number there. I even suggest leaking it. It's 2026. We have the technology to make it easier for people to see. And if people can see it, then they don't question what's going on so much. Then they can actually go and find it easily. It shouldn't be a hard hunt and peck to find.
Right.
It should be available.
Well, now that we have some time, we can take a deep breath and spend some time really looking at this now and work with the planning and engineering department and Jenny pretty closely. So I think we'll come to some good solutions here, just to be prepared for the future.
So are you two ladies interested in the data center? Okay, well, so we were here, earlier in old business, we brought it back up and talked about, you know, I've hired an engineer to look at that land and do things. We've gotten some numbers from Prologis to give to our financial consultant. We're not gonna be done in 2 weeks. There's no way. So we voted tonight to move the meeting to April the 6th.
Okay.
Okay,
That meeting you have.
yes, so,
You want, I didn't plan on speaking, but I did.
please go ahead.
I would like clarification, what you
State-
brought up, kind of the, what,
State your name for the record, please. I'm sorry.
Whitney Carson.
Fine.
Okay. You brought up, the kind of like meeting dates and what, March, and then you said you didn't know till August, and I would like some clarification there. So you didn't know about the meeting and the agreement signed in March until August as the mayor, like, really just asking.
I knew about it, but I was not at that RDC meeting. And that was not necessarily not shared with me, but I didn't ask. I mean, but we did not have a meeting that I don't think with the Prologis people until August. I mean, and I don't know for sure if that's the
But the
date or not,
agreement
so-
was signed in
I'm
March,
sorry.
but the agreement was signed in March, correct?
Yeah, with the redevelopment commission and
Right.
Prologis.
Right, okay. I'm just trying to clarify the timeline here, because
yeah.
you said you didn't know till August.
No, I'm saying I did not
Uh-huh.
know until August meeting
Right.
with the company.
Okay.
I knew
But
that,
some
I knew
people-
that someone had put that someone had put an offer in for the RDC land, which was just the land that we owned.
Mhm.
That was the old Presbyterian ground or the
Right.
old Crone or the old, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
got it.
Greenleaf. So that was and that was the land we were selling. The rest of the land that
Right.
is being proposed now,
You didn't know till
I had
August?
no idea.
Okay,
So
all right.
until they start
My
talking.
timeline.
So-
But even then, understand Prologis is a real estate developer. They're not a data center. So
Okay, I'm
Prologis
aware of that, yeah.
potentially purchasing the
just-
property back in.
Right, I'm just saying we're talking about Prologis here, where the name Prologis came into the picture is the timeline I'm trying to clarify. That's all.
Yeah.
And your timeline, yeah.
I don't think in March they said they were Prologis, but I'm not I don't know.
May not have, they
I'm
don't
not
have
100%
to.
sure, so.
Yeah,
What?
they don't have to. They may not have, they don't have to. Those are some
I'm
things
not
there
saying
they
they
don't
have
have to
to, I was
disclose.
just trying to.
No, no, no,
clarify.
no,
That's all.
not at all.
Okay, and then another question I had, if you don't mind, at the meeting, the state of the city. Part of what I understood was before, like before you even know the company's name or anything, who's coming, kind of you get their needs. Like they say what they're gonna need as far as utilities, like water utilities, all that stuff. And then you check with like. the utilities first.
Basically land use, basically not all utilities. They ask questions. They don't come and say
Okay.
that we need X amount of water or we need X amount of energy.
Okay, well, that was my
We
understanding.
have
from
we
state
have
of
the
city.
meetings. So when we have, like we talked about, we had two meetings last Thursday with two different companies, and
Right.
one of them didn't even tell us their name. So we have no idea who they were. But they came in and, we have, with that point in time, we have Vectren in the room. We have the water company in the room, and we have Duke Energy or Rush Shelby, depending on what
You have
area
them in
they're
here.
looking in. And they're there to answer the questions on needs. And the company XYZ will say, hey, we're looking at 6 gigawatt of power. Is that available? Or
Right.
I'm just making stuff up.
Right, so that's
Or
kind of my
we need
understanding.
$1 million gallons of water a day, or we need to, and we even wastewater's there. Shelley was there, the other day, talk about how much, wastewater they're gonna put off, because that's a big concern for us when we're looking at projects also.
Okay, that was my understanding of like the process.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, where that was leading to was at the, what was it, January 21st meeting? Indiana Water released a statement right before that meeting saying like they hadn't been consulted on that yet. Am I wrong? Has this not gone through that process like we were just talking about?
Indiana Water was at a meeting with Prologis, just like the meeting I talked about Thursday,
Mhm.
and knew what the needs were at that point.
So they're.
So they've been involved, and our city engineer has taken that number from that project and worked with Indiana American to see if that capacity is there.
Okay, I'm
And
trying to understand who's.
this is
looking.
all what I'm being told.
Okay,
So I'm not 100% sure, so I gotta be careful. So, I'm not trying to be careful. I just don't want to give false information, or someone come back and say, well, you said this and it's not true. But I know that Tyler has been had already talked to and talked about the capacity that is needed through Indiana American. Indiana American Water, their locals do not make commitments and statements about data centers. That all comes through corporate. So when that question, this is what I was told by Indian American. So when that question came to them, because I was a little upset that they said they were never told about it, but it went to the different people and didn't go to the local people. So the local people had been involved, but the higher ups had, there was no concern about capacity, so nothing ever had to go up above that.
okay.
Does that make
So
sense?
you feel like that statement to the newspaper was not correct?
Well, I think that's what Indiana American told the paper.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
right,
told them that. I'm
right.
saying you feel like that was a misleading statement on their behalf.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue. That's why we've gone ahead and hired Banning Engineering to go ahead and look at these problems also that we're talking about for further investigation. It's a company we're hiring, obviously, but it's not our guys. Banning's a very respected engineering company in the state of Indiana. They've done work all over the state. They did work on this site years ago to make it a Duke ready, shovel ready site. So the gentleman who's doing this work for us has familiarity with this complex already, or with the original 140 acres. So it'll go forward from there. And, we're going to ask him to look at all these things, the geology, the drainage and everything and anything possible. All the questions that have been asked.
Like the drainage tiles from other farmlands that drain into it. I want to make sure that's safe.
Yeah.
Okay, another question with that. So back to it's April, what was it moved to?
April 6th. Yeah. It's a Monday night.
It's the day after Easter.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so April 6th, and was that per a petitioner's request again, or was that just?
That was made, that decision was made by this council tonight.
Okay, all right, I just want to clarify
Yeah.
that. All right, thanks, guys. I really didn't plan on speaking, but thanks for
Thank you.
letting me.
All right. Have a good night. All right.
I have something else too.
Go ahead.
On the 5th, the meeting was a little hectic at the end, and we had changed, we went through and voted our officers to say the same, which is fine. But when Denny left Plan Commission, I stepped into that role, and I'm also on Parks Department. And I'm kind of stretched thin with all the extra meetings I'm on. So if someone would like to take Parks Department, I would be happy to share that. It's a great department. There's a lot of good things going on. There's also, with all the excitement that happened earlier about parks, there's a group that's trying to come together to make a non-for-profit called Friends of the Park. And they're trying to raise funds so that they can particularly do projects on their own alongside with the park. So there's some cool things happening. It's a great department to represent, but
And we had some conversation, I mentioned it briefly the other day. We had some conversations, Tricia and Gary and I, with a company talking about how we gonna run the amphitheater, you know? So, I mean, it's not gonna be ready to be 27, but we're already thinking about it, starting to go moving forward. And that's when I said, I think Betsy and Thurman were gonna be called by Tricia to be part of that committee, if you have time. But but you were the lead, so that's why we use,
Right.
and we like Thurman for his music background, even though he
Right.
can't sing, so, but you know.
here's some songs. It's bad.
So, but we're working on that moving forward already to try and figure, because it's, I mean, we say 27, but it'll be here before we know it, so.
Right. There's also a project going on trying to like embrace the river a little bit more, which I love. I'm a kayaker, so I love that. We have an armada of about 14 that go out together and hit different rivers. And there's a group trying to get more launches set up in the county that will be able to come down through the city as well.
We're working on that through solid waste. Nathan Runnabum's been very instrumental in trying to get that done. So I don't know how it fits into solid waste, but you know,
Right.
but they've already got a couple of sites picked out. I think one up in Morristown and one a little further south. So
Yeah.
to look out for more canoe launches. So
Hooked them up with our fleet armada captain. So hopefully they'll be able to get together and
Done some cleanup.
make things happen.
all right, any other miscellaneous?
Oh, just one last thing, kudos to the street department. They did an awesome job as far as I know. It was very, very challenging. It was very, very cold, a lot of snow. I think they had a little better opportunity with less traffic, less people out on Sunday last week, but I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but at the same time, you know, did very, very well as far as I could tell with, yes, there's gonna be mounds of snow around for a while, so it looks like, but
Well,
you know, just
But the
an inch. That's
more, and I don't mean to, I guess, belittle the job they did. They did a great job, but the more impressive thing is everybody had to go pick up trash on Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Outside in that weather, in the snow, in a foot of snow, bouncing up and down the street, trying to get all the trash cans moved and get them, you know, unloaded. So, and they did a great job. I saw that Greensburg completely shut down trash for the whole week last week.
for a whole week.
Yeah.
So yeah, good job,
Yeah.
Shane Peters and the guys. the
They
crew out
did-
there.
Everybody did a great job. Everybody in the city does a great job, so. So, okay, reports from committees, boards and commissions.
The Tax Abatement Committee will meet on this coming Thursday. And
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, correct.
Do you know who your victim is? I mean, who the,
We probably won't discuss the name and
Okay.
what exactly is going on as you described
yeah,
in
I know. so-
until Thursday, so.
Yeah, okay, good enough. I just thought I'd ask. I don't know.
Okay.
And I missed Parks Board because we were off on a field trip that day. So
No. All right, any other reports, committees, boards and commissions? Yes, go right ahead.
Just a little update from my office. We have rolled over the year. We do have 2025 year-end financials in your folder to check out. If anybody has any questions or has trouble reading something, please contact my office. We've got a little bit over 3 weeks to make sure that we've got everything into Gateway with the annual report and with all the year-end reports. They've doubled up our Gateway duties. We also handle RDA now. So with the Redevelopment Authority and the city of Shelbyville, I just want to say that my people in my office have done an outstanding job. We're up to like 56 different bank accounts now. The city is grown and doing so much more in my office than we ever have done. Managing a lot of the stuff from the airport as far as selling fuel, a lot of extra opioid monies, a lot of extra reports that are involved. Manpower is it's getting tough. I had 7 public records requests sent to me from yesterday afternoon till this morning. I don't have people that can take time off to go to the basement and dig things right now. We got to finish our job. We'll do the best we can to get those reports out to people. And I get back with somebody right away. And then I say, I'll do my best to do it in a timely manner. But I'm not making excuses. I just want to let you know that my office is very busy and my office is kicking butt right now. They deserve to have that on the record.
Anyone else in the public wish to speak? Any further comments, committees, boards? Motion to adjourn? Okay.